So I have a little bit to cover today. Monday talk. It's pretty cool. Of course. Hello, wifey. Let's see here. There's an article here, date August 27, 2021. It says, Unraveling the Mystery of Brown Dwarfs. Right here, Université de Genève. I'm not very good with foreign languages. Brown dwarfs are astronomical objects with masses between those of planets and stars. The question of where exactly the limits of their mass lie remains a mystery of debate, especially since their constitution is very similar to that of low-mass stars. So how do we know whether we are dealing with a brown dwarf or a very low-mass star? It's very strange how they force there to be a question that doesn't actually have an answer. Brown dwarfs, there's no mass cutoff for anything. A star cools and collapses upon itself gravitationally and uses all that gravitational potential energy to form things called molecules and compounds, and it loses its mass. And the process of this occurring is called stellar evolution, or in the general theory of stellar metamorphosis. Brown dwarfs, it's not a mystery, you guys at University de Genève. A brown dwarf is right there, okay? It's a very cool red dwarf, and it is a pre-gas giant. It's an intermediate object. It straddles this area from when it's really bright and shining, and then begins or ceases shining brightly, like a Jupiter or a Saturn. So it sits that middle ground right there. It's the missing link, as Abruzzo would say. And I had made some notes here I wanted to discuss quickly. If there's any astronomers listening to this or scientists, be careful of how you focus your mind. Be careful of how you view the world in specific kinds of ways. Your perspective is what will cause you to view things in a way that just isn't true, and it will prevent you from understanding them in a complete manner. For instance, the mainstream, what they teach a lot of kids, and from what I've seen, is they focus on identity. They focus on classification. I have some synonyms here. Cataloging, description, a summary, a narrative. You've got to go along with a narrative. This is what things are. If you question it, you're not going to get a career. Definitions, characterizations, delineation. Delineation is you have A's over here and B's over here, and there's a line. What they're trying to do is forcibly delineate a brown dwarf, a star, and a planet. They're trying to force their perspective to conform to their obsession with identity and with the definitions. Representation, specification, version, picture versus a movie. The general theory that I'm working on is a movie. It's thousands upon thousands of pictures. And what mainstream does is they take a single snapshot, and that's what you are. You can't change your as-is, you're a static structure. And also, the little details. They're very detail-oriented, which means they lose the bigger picture. Astronomers these days are the types of people who go into a large forest and they focus on a little ant that's walking along a tree, not realizing that they're in a forest that's on a planet that's completely separate from Earth, which would be really insane to think about. And the way I look at it, the way I think people need to look at structures that are thermodynamic, meaning they exchange heat with their environment, is through change. Change, or the words I found are modification, transformation, revision, advanced, like more advanced stages of evolution. Distortion, a way to discover new things is to distort the facts as you may perceive them to be to discover something new. That's the purpose of a lot of my papers I wrote up on Vixra. Mutation, such as DNA changes. A lot of mutated DNA causes there to be different changes happening in your body. And there's, I think, a theory on evolution is that natural selection really isn't the way, but really it's just the reason why human beings came from other types of animals over time was that our DNA mutated over time. So mutation can be a good and bad thing. Of course, metamorphosis, the antonym would be stagnation. That's where the mainstream academics are inside of the Université de Genève. Evolution, transfiguration, renewal, which is new structures from old ones. You have an old structure and it forms a new structure internally as it evolves. And improvement for life and maturation. Stars mature. A brown dwarf, what they don't know here is simply a more mature red dwarf. And a red dwarf is a more mature orange dwarf, and an orange dwarf is a more mature sun-like star, and a sun-like star is more mature, and it goes on and on and on. And you have Neptune and Uranus as being more mature Jupiter-type objects. And it goes in the other way too, until the object is completely almost solidified and it's broken up and wanders the galaxy for quite some time. So I don't know if these people have heard of this theory, but I suggest they sort of, maybe if they can, pull themselves out of the little bubble. And that being said, I received 2 nice comments thanking for the development of the video. Thanks, Baz. You got a compliment. I don't know if you saw that or not on one of the stellar evolution videos. And there was another person that commented that water couldn't have come from comets. It's just too much water. The comet theory is not gonna work. But that being said, this has been on my mind for some time. I received one of the most concealed compliments, sort of. I sort of ruffled somebody's feathers, then they decided to tell me about it, but, quote, "Rot in hell, you dumb piece of filth." And it didn't really hurt me. I mean, I've been working on this for about 10 years now. In about 3 days, it'll be 10 years. But somebody decided to tell me that on a discussion page on my YouTube channel. And at first I was like, wait a second. And because a regular person would be kind of offended and kind of feel bad, but I'm like, wow, I'm really making a difference in the world. To think a unjustified insult like that is actually a compliment in disguise. It's a very, very good compliment because it means I've sort of done the change that needs to occur, regardless of how hateful somebody would be towards that change and their own worldview. They're trying to process their own worldview being challenged, and the only way they knew how to respond is to insult me. So I took that as a very, very big compliment. I know it's kind of backwards to look at it like that, but in all essence, when you know human nature in a way, it's a compliment. Let's see here. I guess that's it for now. Just wanted to talk about the mystery of brown dwarfs. There is no mystery. If they just change the way they look at the world, if they look at it as planets as being evolutionary in nature, they'll realize that brown dwarfs don't have any mass cutoff. It's all a continuous process. All right, you guys, take it easy.